Okay, so earlier when I was at school, the Fortnite status account has tweeted, um, with the improvements we made to aim assist, we plan to remove the use legacy lock controls setting on March 13th. To use the new settings and maintain your legacy sensitivities, select copy from legacy and the controller options and toggle off use legacy lock controls. Finally, for the past months or something, they are finally removing legacy controls. And as a controller player, I am extremely happy because I don't use legacy controls whatsoever. I don't use it at all. Me personally, I feel like it is a huge downgrade from the new controls. So if you don't know the comparison of the two, there's legacy controls, which they are removing, and the new controls. I'm just kind of calling new controls. So the legacy controls is the one that you see like on Twitter and all them pro players complaining about controller players. It's this sensitivity where you L2 spam. That's what it basically is. It's been that setting has been around Fortnite for a long freaking time. Since the beginning, I think. I don't really remember. But yeah, you can just literally L2 spam and it'll automatically go to the character or sense the character. Now, the new controls is drastically different. The new controls doesn't have L2 spam. It does not. All it does is just track the enemy player, depending on what distance is. So it sounds bad, but let me give you a brief example. Imagine there's a piece of cheese that's attached to a string, and there's a mouse. The piece of cheese is the enemy, and the mouse is the aim assist. If the enemy starts moving, if you're really close, then the aim assist will follow. Just like a cheese, just like a mouse with cheese, it follows it. It doesn't aim directly at the player though, it just rides along to the back where you can't shoot them. You have to rely on using the thumbsticks. Is that what you said? The thumbsticks. You gotta rely on that a lot more when you use the new controls. Now, on the other hand, if you use legacy settings, all you have to do is push L2 and it will automatically go to the character. A lot of people, whenever this new control setting has been released to the public, every single controller player has went to the new controls by default. So most of the people don't really know that they can use the old setting. But to the people who actually know, like these pro controller players, they are actually really scared. I've seen the tweets and all that, and they're really scared. To be honest, it's not that bad. It is legit not that bad. It is completely, totally fine. It's just that you have to rely on yourself. You have to control it. It is your responsibility to do your actions if you use the new controls, which that's gonna be the default, is the new controls. So you gotta rely on yourself. You gotta rely on your stick and your sensitivity. It's exactly like mouse. So on the new setting, there is two options for the way the stick moves. There is exponential, which whenever your stick is all the way out to the left, like that, if you can hear it, when it touches the plastic, when the stick touches the plastics, the sensitivity doesn't go all the way. It does it like a graph. As the seconds go by, the more intense the sensitivity gets until you're at the sensitivity that you prefer. Linear, however, is just that once you touch the stick and you barely move it, it automatically inputs into the game. Me personally, I use linear, and I think that is the best option right now. Don't use exponential, because linear you have to, and it's a lot more controllable, kind of like when you're using a mouse. So yeah, those are the two settings for the new control, quote unquote. And honestly, it's not that bad. If you think about it, it's not that bad. Legacy controls was awful. You can see like controller player, and all that stuff. You can literally see controller player everywhere when you use legacy settings. And next week, and to the people who use legacy settings, and to the people who are actually scared, don't be. You just gotta rely on your stick more. You literally have to rely on yourself more instead of relying on aim assist. I mean, yeah, the closer you get, you can use aim assist. You can use aim assist to your potential, but for the distance, you have to rely on yourself, because it doesn't really calibrate the assist the further the enemy is away. So it's not that big of a deal. You just gotta get freaking used to it. Stop complaining. I'm with the PC players of laughing at you guys. To the people who use legacy controls. And to be honest, in my opinion, Fortnite should have just removed it in general whenever they put this new control setting. Because, oh my god, I already knew this was gonna happen from the start. Whenever they announced it, whenever they said, oh yeah, you can go switch back to the old aim assist. I already knew that's going to happen. I already knew all of these events that has been happening literally for the past like couple months. I already knew that. I already knew that stuff was going to happen. So they should have just removed legacy settings whenever they had the new aim assist, so people can get used to it. I gotta be honest, it's not bad. There's no difference whatsoever. There's literally gotta be no difference at all. So if you use legacy settings, do not be scared, because you are going to be terrible for the first few days, but once you keep on getting used to it, it's literally just like a meta. Stop complaining about it. I've seen like a couple tweets telling, like, harassing Fortnite about this decision. But like, there's no difference whatsoever. You just can't rely on aim assist as much as you did anymore. You gotta rely on yourself. It is your decision. It is your decision for now on, next week. It is your choice if you're gonna rely on aim assist and be terrible, or practice your aim. I'm just saying. So that's my opinion. That's my rant about it. As a controller player, I'm so happy. It brings out an even playing field. It literally does. Cutting out legacy settings puts out an even playing field. But to the people who say like, oh, you're still a controller player, you're gonna face controller players, and I'm also gonna place PC players too, because it has forced crossplay. No matter what, no matter what mode, no matter what game you play, it is forced crossplay. You play with PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. To Switch and mobile, they just play by themselves. I don't really know. I'm not 100% sure though. But yeah, forced crossplay. Yeah, people who use legacy settings are really cheating about it. So if you next week, if you go wubby dubby crybaby, then get used to it. Just how you got used to the C4s. That's how you got used to the minigun. That's how you got used to the freaking sword. That's how you got used to freaking, what is it called? Siphon. That's how you got used to Siphon, to the people who hated Siphon. You just have to get used to it. That's how gaming works. So it's just stop complaining, man, and just move on. Yeah, this thing was OP. You just gotta move on. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment down below what your opinion about Fortnite removing the legacy controls are. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm out.